So today I'd like to talk about knowledge and what it takes to be a leader. I wanted to talk specifically about the fact that you don't need a wide range of knowledge about a project to be a leader in that project. And I think the best way to explain that is to talk about a man named Charles Schwab. And this man was the first person to, in the United States at least, to earn a wage of over $1 million. And this man worked for a steel mill as the CEO or the manager. He didn't own the steel mill, but he worked for it and he was paid by the owner a total of $1 million a year. And when Charles was being hired, it was abundantly clear that he was not very knowledgeable about steel and steel production. He had no idea what he was doing in that regard. But the owner, knowing full well about this, still hired him. And the reason being is because he had very good people skills and very good ways of solving issues when they came up. And as an example of this, a couple of the workers were not wearing hard hats, and this is obviously a safety issue. And so instead of scolding them or telling them they have to wear their hard hats, he instead questioned them and asked why they weren't and if the hats were uncomfortable. And that resolved the issue. They let them know that the hats were uncomfortable to wear. And that obviously is a workaround that's a lot easier than trying to enforce something that people don't want to do. Or, as another example, smoking, for whatever reason, was prohibited inside the building. This was in the 1920s when smoking was a little bit more acceptable. And despite that, some workers would still smoke inside the building. And again, while you could try and use a rule with an iron fist and lock down harder on stopping that, it doesn't usually work. So instead he went and bought a nice cigar, and when they were on break and smoking inside, he came up to them and started up a conversation and offered for the big man himself to give them his cigar, and then proceeded to say that he would appreciate it if they smoked it outside. And I'm sure you can extrapolate some value from those stories, but it really does prove that as a very wealthy man, that all of his income came from not knowing anything about the project and steel production, but about how to work with people and how to be inspirational and how to work with conflict and resolve issues that were causing pretty significant issues. So there's a car going by. No idea if you could hear that or not, but there's a whole convoy of cars coming by. The message of the story is that you really do not need a knowledge on what you're leading on or the project you're working on if you are to be a leader. The most important thing is personal skills. It's the ability to navigate issues and conflicts internally in the group that you're managing. And I would love to go into more detail about this, but I think this video is more so to say that you shouldn't lose confidence if you are struggling with the overwhelming amount of knowledge you need to be a leader, because it's not as broad as you think it needs to be. There are a general set of skills you can learn, and they are people skills. You don't need some sort of knowledge about a certain topic to lead a project in that topic. And that's the beautiful thing. Once you're a leader, once you have those skills, you can apply it to any project you want. Not just, at least with what I'll be teaching, in building a community, building a tribe. You can apply it to any project you want, whether it be through paid work or a personal hobby of yours. And I think that's beautiful. So, just a short one today. I hope this has come in handy for someone, and I'll see you again at some point.